What is up, guys? It is the Sports Nerd Bradley Walker, and welcome to the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. Yes, I do, first of all, want to apologize. I said last week this show would be back on Friday night, and here we are on Sunday. And once again, we are here on Sunday afternoon. A little bit earlier than it was last week, guys. I was home, so I wanted to do my show early and get it done for the week. Guys, there will be no Walker Report or Sunshine State Sports Jabber next week, so you don't have to worry about that. There will not be any of those next week. But again, guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is part of NGSC Sports. Please remember the website, guys. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. Head over there, guys. The last 2 weeks, I have submitted season previews for the USF Bulls and the Florida Gators, who I cover on this show. So head on over there and read my articles. The editor, who is a good friend of mine, Ralph Garcia, is the guy that runs this network as well, and they're loving my writing. Head on over there, guys, and give the website some love as well to all the other writers that call NGSC home. This show is also sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, guys, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience of your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Like I said, guys, welcome into the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. If you are here for the very, very first time, this is an all Florida sports podcast. I am normally joined by Louis Tenier and Adam Mingle. They probably will both be in here shortly, but I'm going to go ahead and get the show started. First, guys, I will start with sporting events that happen in the state of Florida. Next weekend, NASCAR returns to the great and the granddaddy of them all, Daytona International Speedway, for the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Next week, they're in Michigan as we speak, but they are back. For the second consecutive year, this race will serve as a last chance race for the 16 drivers of the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. The first Summer Cup Series, 150 miles until extended to 400 miles, 1963, at the high-banked Daytona International Speedway, saw Fireball Roberts win on a 2.5-mile layout in 1959, just months after the grand opening of the World Center of Racing and the inaugural Daytona 500, which, guys, if you do not know, is the race that opens up the NASCAR season every year, the Daytona 500 in Daytona Beach, Florida. The race will be next Saturday, the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is the birthplace of speed, as it's calling itself, but the Daytona International Speedway will be hosting the Coke Zero 400 next week. I'll know more about it, guys. Like I said, I think they're still racing in Michigan as we speak. So there's really no reason or anything like that. I guess what I can do is in a couple weeks, after my week off next week, the first week in September, come back and kind of go over what is going on in Daytona. I'm sure that we will talk about that on the Walker Report when we dive into our NASCAR conversations. But then again, we will be at Daytona International Speedway next weekend. And again, because there's no show, guys, I will be covering this as I always do. I try to cover all the sporting events that happen in Florida. I apologize, guys, if I miss them, because I know there's a lot of them that I do miss and stuff like that. So I do apologize if I miss them. But go ahead and let me know if anything is coming up as far as within the big, NCAA, anything. When we get into bowl games, I'll go through all of them, because if they're in the state of Florida, I will cover them for you on here. And guys, are you ready for this? Next Saturday, probably next week, starts the college football season. Oh my goodness, we are back. Football is back. I'll talk more about preseason football coming up for the Dolphins, Jaguars, and the Buccaneers. But college football is upon us. I will probably hear about my USF credentials this week, or probably this week. By the end of this week, guys, I will have known if I got credentials to USF. If you are a friend of mine on Facebook, you will know, because I will post it as I posted it the last 3 years, that I've got credentials to USF football. But again, guys, next Saturday they will be at Daytona International Speedway for the Coke Zero Sugar 400. This again is to set up the NASCAR playoffs. So again, and then this is where it all begins next February. When the calendar turns back to February, we will be right back here again for the Daytona 500. Then at that point, but like I said, there's the Daytona logo behind me that's in the middle of the track. So they are back at Daytona this week. I'm going to go in, guys, and jump into my soccer talk. I did end up finding out, I guess I've been missing Miami FC. So I'm going to talk about them this week as well. But let me jump in as I always do. I always start with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So I'm going to go ahead and start there with them. I believe, as if I'm not mistaken, and I was going through it, that here we are now. Let me see exactly what is happening here, because there was a game I believe the Rowdies played. Let's see here. So a late goal lists the Rowdies past the Hartford Athletic. That was back a couple weeks ago. They were able to defeat Hartford. And they played the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Let me dive in real quick to the USFL scoreboard and the standings so far for the USL. Let me see here right now. Let's see where we stand here. Let me scan down, guys, here real quick. The Tampa Bay Rowdies are tied with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds atop the USL Eastern Conference Atlantic standings. Actually, Miami FC, who I will be talking about, is only 3 points behind both Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay at the current moment. The Rowdies have played 18 matches. They have 11 wins, 1 draw, 6 losses, 24 goals scored, 15 allowed, and a +9 goal differential. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds have played 20 matches. They've had 10 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses. They've scored 28, allowed 22 with a +6, and they also have 34 points. And I might as well talk about Miami FC. They've played 19 matches, 9 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses. They've scored 28, allowed 25, and a +3 goal differential. And again, like I said, they stand at 31 points. That is 3 behind Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. So the Rowdies, guys, have come back. They are now back in first place. They had slipped down a little bit just a couple weeks ago. They were not in first place in the division, and now they are back on top again. So congratulations as they get back into it. Let me see, guys, how many matches Tampa Bay has left in the season. Actually, they play tomorrow against London United at 7 p.m. It looks like they still have quite a few left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like they have 14 matches left. The last one will be on October 30th in Las Vegas against the Las Vegas Lights. But they do have 11 matches left. They have 2 in hand against the Riverhounds. That's a good thing. They have 2 in hand, which means they play 2 less, which means they can get points and get ahead of Pittsburgh to win the conference again, like they did a year ago. In fact, they won the whole Eastern Conference last year, and then, of course, due to COVID, they were unable to play in the championship game against Phoenix because of COVID issues. So again, like I said, that is all my Rowdies news. They do have a match tomorrow night, so we'll be watching that. Miami FC, again, like I said, I was just talking about them. I just added them on here. So this is Miami FC. This is the first time I've had this logo behind me on my show. The reason, guys, in the beginning, it was hard to find any news about these guys, it's not like the Rowdies or Inter Miami or Orlando City, who, again, those are both MLS teams, where Miami FC and the Rowdies are USL teams. So it's a little bit less than that. But the Miami FC, again, like I just mentioned, they are only 3 points back of Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay in the Atlantic Eastern Division. So that's not really all that bad. They just came off of beating Pittsburgh to get to where they are right now. But then, like I said, this is the time for Miami, the Miami FC. So, like I said, they're hanging in there. They're right in the thick of things, when it's all said and done. So that's that right there. But that is all my USL news for both Tampa Bay, both the Rowdies and Miami FC. Let me go ahead and now jump to Inter Miami. That is the MLS team. There's Lewis.
How are you doing, Bradley?
Pretty good.
The Miami team.
Yes, the Miami team it is. So it looks like to me with them, they've somehow climbed out of the bowels of wherever they were at. They're still not quite there where they need to be.
Right.
But they have somehow they have strung some wins together. In fact, I believe I watched ESPN this morning and they made a goal that made ESPN top 10. So there you go. So yeah, one of their games that they.
But even though they're still in the toilet?
Even though they're still in the toilet, they still are able to make an ESPN top 10. Yeah, that's
even though you're losers, you're still making good plays. Even though you're losers.
Yeah, yep.
I know everybody's thinking, why are you doing it wrong? Because I'm left-handed. Everybody thinks I'm doing it backwards. I'm left-handed, so I do loser this way. And if the rest of you all think I'm crazy, I don't care.
Yeah, so that is that. Miami guys is still, they're still in the bowels of the MLS. Yeah, well, I mean, they're down there. They're not,
right, the sewer.
Anywhere near Orlando or New England or any of the teams that are
in this part of the country. We call it the sewer.
The sewer. There we go. Okay.
The sewer. That's sewer.
All right, the sewer. We could say that.
The New York term.
Nothing really upon them other than they're talking about David Beckham. Obviously, he's a part owner of the team,
right?
But nothing really out of the ordinary for them. Nothing. Nothing really big about Miami at the current moment.
No.
But again, they're still in the sewer there. The next team that I cover is Orlando. Now they're not. Orlando is at the top of the MLS at the current moment.
Yes.
Let me see exactly where they stand. At last, I thought they were two out of. They were like in fourth. They are now back in second place behind New England.
New England.
They played 20 matches, 9 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses. They scored 30 goals, allowed 24 with a +6 goal differential. They're at 34 points, 2 ahead of Philadelphia, 2 ahead of Nashville, and 3 ahead of New York City this year. Now they trail New England by 15 points. The Revolution have 49 points with 15 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses. They've scored 44 goals, allowed only 26 with a +8 differential.
That's a lot of ground to catch up with about 6 weeks to go.
Yeah. As of right now, it would be New England, Orlando City, Philadelphia, Nashville, New York City, Montreal, and DC United would be the 7 teams going to the MLS postseason. That would leave out Atlanta United, Columbus, the New York Red Bulls, Inter Miami, Chicago, Cincinnati, and Toronto would be the teams that would be left out. Actually, if I look at it correctly here, Inter Miami is only 5 points out of the final playoff spot. So,
and actually, the Red Bulls and the New York City game got held off last night because it started to pour here.
I was gonna say you guys got a hurricane coming your way.
Tropical storm, but it's like it's like if you like take like a quart cup, and you can just imagine how much is peeing down all over the place. That's how much rain we're getting. You take and feel it was like, wow, where did all this pee come from? Sorry, it's not so grotesque.
Yeah, like I said, guys, if you are living in the Northeast watching this show, you guys are having a tropical storm is coming. So take cover if you can. Obviously prepare for it because,
Umbrellas.
as Lewis will tell you, that neck of the woods, they don't get a lot of hurricanes and tropical storms. They're not
No,
prepared for
no.
that. Not like where I live here in Florida. We're prepared for that all year round, or at least for
Right.
the time of June 1st and November 30th. We're prepared for hurricanes to
How
come.
much pee is in your area?
Yeah, no, we don't. Actually, I'm looking outside right now. It's kind of cool to look outside and actually see the sun still up.
Well, I mean,
But
I
yeah.
don't mean today actually, but I mean like on average with the hurricanes, how much of that pee water comes to you?
The last time that we had a tropical storm roll through here, I think we got like maybe an inch, 2 inches of rain. That's
That's
all
it?
we got. That's it. That's all we got.
You call that a tropical storm?
Yeah, that's an average thunderstorm for us on a normal Friday afternoon or normal weekend.
That's a tropical storm, 2 inches of rain. I don't think so.
Well, we didn't. My area didn't get hit directly. I mean, we've had, of course, big storms hit us. Hurricane Andrew hit in 1994 or 5. I don't remember.
5.
And it basically ripped Homestead to shreds. It turned into so.
It did make landfall, but it went to Rhode Island, so we're not getting the wind. We're just getting the rain. We're not getting the powerful winds with this. So this is really I mean, this is far from a Sandy. I mean, it's bad enough, but it's not catastrophic.
Correct.
It just plain sucks, and you're gonna get wet.
Yes, yeah. If you're up there watching the show, guys, just have your umbrella prepared because it's gonna get a little rainy out there.
And it's a great day to be a Duck.
There you go. It is a great day to be a Duck. So Orlando City, guys, is again, like I said, they're in the top 2 teams in the MLS right now on the eastern side of the bracket. The Orlando Pride also has all of a sudden been on the winning. They've been winning a lot of games too as well. They've changed.
NWSL.
Yes, this is the NSWL, I think.
Okay.
This is the women's soccer league.
You had the right league, just the wrong letters in the wrong place.
Right, correct. But yes, they are getting offensive production. They are starting to win games. They changed coaches. And ever since they've changed coaches, they've started winning more games. So maybe that was one of those.
Sometimes what it takes, sometimes a simple change in line, like a right trade, a right coach or whatever, that can really turn your season around right there. If you get the wrong guy, like, we were in first place now, we're just like, we're pathetic. We went from worst to first in a week.
And
we suck.
And guys, what Lewis just said can happen in a blink of an eye too, because that's exactly what can happen.
Look at my Mets. Look at the Mets, rather. Ah!
Yeah, there you go. There's a team that the Yankees can't stop winning. The Mets can't stop losing. So there you go.
Last time they won a game, I think, was in May.
So, but yeah, the
last year,
Orlando Pride have they been on the winning ways as of late. Again, since they made a change in the head coaching position, they've done pretty well with that. But again,
how long is their schedule? Because like MLS, I think has 36 or 38 games. What's the NSWL schedule? I forgot.
Let me see real quick.
Yeah, I don't think they're the same. I think they're less.
Their next game, Orlando.
No. How many games in a season do they play?
Let me see. How many matches? The next match for the Pride is actually today at 4:00. So end of this show will be their next. How many games? Hang on a second. Back here. Let's see. How many games are in the WSL season? There we go. They played 24, Lewis.
24. I thought it was shorter, yeah. And one of actually there have been two developments of concerning retired players or could be retired players because from my neck of the woods, Carly Lloyd is calling it quits, and Megan Rapone says she might call it quits.
Yeah, I mean, with the international team, I mean, like those two, I mean, after a while. The youth has to come through. I mean, I grew up watching Mia Hamm and Julie. Those ladies had to step away sooner or later too. So, and I mean, who's the other one? Abby Wambach was my favorite, and she had to step away. So, I mean, after a while, you kind of just the game.
No, they weren't that old,
No, they're not that old either. No. So it's just
you left out one.
Which one?
Randy.
Oh, Brandy Chastain.
Randy
Right.
Chastain. We all remember that one, don't we, folks?
I actually wrote an article, Lewis, about them. How after they retire, and Brandy Chastain especially, they are donating their brains to CTE research.
Nice.
They want to see if it can affect soccer players as much as it's affected NFL players or National Hockey League players.
They rejected me though. They said, "No, well, we try to find something for your CTE, but we didn't find anything there. Thanks. Nothing. Maybe Advil.
Yeah. But guys, that is my soccer news. Let me jump to the NBA. I start with the boys in Miami. The Miami Heat obviously had an interesting offseason. I was reading something about that this is the best situation that Jimmy Butler's been in since his career. The way that the stars that have Miami has gotten has definitely put them in the driver's seat again. Remember, guys, just 2 years ago, this team was in the NBA Finals playing the Lakers in the 2020 COVID lockout, or not, I should say lockout, COVID in Orlando at the Flroida Sports Complex in Disney. Yes. They were in the finals against the Lakers, and the Lakers beat them in 6 games. I remember watching Game 5, and Jimmy Butler put on an absolute show to extend that series to Game 6. Because if not, it would have been over in 5. But he went off in Game 5 to keep.
Well, you knew they had to get one in there.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
That's right.
As of right now, let me pull up where the what are the power rankings for the off season. Let me give you
this is the off season. That's kind of weird.
This is from the website Sir Charles in Charge. This is a fan-sided website. But here are the NBA power rankings for the Heat. It says Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls steal the offseason. So here are let's see who they have. I'll give you from 30 on down. Number 30, the Thunder, the Spurs at 29, the Pistons at 28, the Magic at 27, who I'll be talking about next, the Rockets, the Cavaliers, and then the next 5 would be Toronto, Minnesota, Sacramento. Now, these are what they call playoff hopefuls.
Yeah.
The Pacers, Hornets, Wizards, and Pelicans. Then you have the Grizzlies at 17. And that's J.A. Morant's team, right?
Yeah, John Morant.
Then they have the Trailblazers at 16. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. If they keep Damian, if they keep Lillard, that's fine. I don't know what's going on with
Lillard might go to the Knicks. Well, that's just a rumor, though.
They have Dallas at 15. They have the Knicks at 14 currently. They have the Hawks at 13, who took the Knicks out last year. They have Boston at 12. They have the Chicago Bulls at 11. They have Golden State at 10. At number 9, they have the Miami Heat. So the Heat are in the top 10.
Respectable.
They have the LA Clippers at 8. They have the Denver Nuggets at 7.
By that.
They have the Utah Jazz at 6. They have the 76ers at 5. They have the Suns at 4. They have the Lakers at 3. They have the Nets at 2, and that would leave just one team left, and that.
Let me guess.
It
rhymes with yuck.
The defending champion, Milwaukee Bucks. But yeah, so that's who they have. So the Heat guys are in the top 10 as far as the off-season power rankings go.
Yeah.
The season's gonna kick off in mid-October?
October 19th.
Yeah, mid-October.
I got the whole first week schedule posted up, including the Christmas Day games. Oh, and those Christmas Day games are gonna be good.
Who's playing on Christmas Day, if you don't mind me asking?
Which game do you want?
Give me all. Give me.
Oh, wow! You drive a hard bargain. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this to my source, the Sports Media Watch page.
Okay.
It's a very good site. I don't know if you ever checked it out, but I've heard about this site for quite some time. We'll get this. ABC is going to bring back Sunday doubleheaders and a pre-Christmas Day game too. That's even better.
Mm-hmm.
They got 21 games, I think. Okay, so if you want the Christmas Day schedules, now if you're a fan of this, great. If you're not, I feel sorry for you. Okay, so here we go. I'll give you the highlights for the opening week first. Okay. For the opening night, we have the Nets versus the Yucks, or you call them the Bucks. Warriors versus the Lakers. That's 10 o'clock game, October 19th. If you want to go down to October 20th, the Celtics versus the Knicks. Came up against his old team. Okay. And Nuggets at Suns at 10 o'clock. Everything else is all NBA League Pass or streaming games. That's fine with me. Mavericks and Hawks on the 21st. Clippers and Warriors at 10 o'clock on the 21st. That's a TNT opener. Nets and Sixers on the 22nd on ESPN, followed by Suns and Lakers. On the 23rd, the Heat versus Pacers and Suns versus Blazers, both on NBA TV. I'm going to enjoy that. I think it's game one of the World Series. 24th, the Celtics versus the Rockets. And on 25th, the Wizards and Nets versus the Blazers and the Clippers. Now, if you want your Christmas Day games, okay. And if you're a fan of these games, Santa Claus has been good to you. So here we go. What is a long list? They don't have the hockey schedule out though yet. Why is it taking you guys so long? You are nuts. The season starts before the NBA does, and you don't have the TV schedule for that yet? What are you, crazy? Or you're lazy. All right, Christmas Day games. Ready? ESPN starts off with the Hawks versus the Knicks at 12 o'clock. That's when everybody starts opening their gifts. For your appetizer for dinner, there's the Celtics and Bucks at 2:30. Your dinner course, the Warriors versus the Suns at 5 o'clock. Dessert, the Nets versus the Lakers, 8 o'clock. And if you want that midnight snack, the Mavericks versus the Jazz at 10:30. Enough said.
There you go. All right. So there's that.
You notice how I did that. You notice how I did it that way.
Right.
You know, I did it for Thanksgiving too. Like, you know, for as you're preparing for the Thanksgiving, you know, with the appetizers, you get the Lions game. During dinner, you have the Dallas game.
Mm-hmm.
And for dessert, you have the third game, which I think might be Pittsburgh or Baltimore or something like that.
Yeah.
Depending on, you know, because they change every year. But you get the idea how I work it around like a schedule for eating and stuff.
And Dallas and Detroit always play on Thanksgiving Day. They've done that for
But
years.
not against each other.
Yeah. Never against each other. They always play each, you know, so.
Right.
Yeah.
If you live on the West Coast, though, it's a little bit different but you start before breakfast. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
The Orlando Magic, obviously, you know, getting Jalen Suggs was huge. That was something that they were able to do. He has been very good so far in the summer league games. He's showing that the leader that he could be in the future, which is what the Magic obviously need. They are the young core that they have is showing very good signs so far in the summer league.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Now, again, this team, guys, as everything else, it is a rebuild. This is not a team that's
that dreaded word.
You know, in the playoffs anytime soon. But if the Magic continue to do what they've been doing, they could be back in the postseason. I'm not going to say NBA championship or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far-fetched out to say that.
Don't throw it away.
I would say make the playoffs first, which I think this team is probably a few years away from doing.
Yes.
But again, this is where you got to do. Every team goes through this. You got to go younger and you got to build, and that's what Orlando's doing as we speak. Yes. They were also in the 2020 bubble thing when they got knocked out by the current NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, the Bucks got knocked out. I think who knocked them out in 2020? Was it Miami? Who knocked them out of the playoffs?
I think it was Miami. Yeah,
the Heat. Okay, so obviously, obviously, it's changed a lot for Milwaukee after they won this year's title. But
that's a mentality, though, of course.
Yes. that is my NBA news. And again, as we get
If
closer, guys,
only, if
season.
only James Harden was not on that line. If only that would have happened, then we would have been there.
Right, correct.
Dumbass.
The next up, guys, I'm gonna head to the Diamond,
Mm.
and that is I cover two teams on here, guys, and the first is the Miami Marlins. The Marlins guys, they are going. They need to lock up one of their pitchers in Sandy Alcantara, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They
Yeah.
got to lock him up before he obviously gets away from them. They're going to miss Elias Hernandez. He's out for the season. I think he had to have Tommy John surgery. Something happened with him, so
There's that season.
he's definitely out. The Marlins guys, again, just like anything else, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they sit where in the NL East? Hang on just a second. Let me see. Let me see where they stand in the National League East. Over here, real quick. They are at 51-73. They are 16 and a half games out of first place, which is held currently by the Atlanta Braves. They are 500 at home at 30-30. They're 21-43 on the road, and they've only won 4 out of their last 10 so far. So again, guys, they are not
No.
anywhere near a playoff berth or anything along those lines. They didn't. I don't think they really did too much at the deadline either. I don't think they did a lot of trades.
I think they full up and died.
Yeah, they.
I mean, the Braves, not for nothing, of course, have been pouring it on.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we can get to the Rays. We can get to the Rays. They
and
they're going the other direction.
The Marlins and Braves don't like each other.
No.
I mean, especially with that incident, we'll have it with Acuna and knock him out for the rest of the year and get to do a final without him. But when you get hit 7 times by the same pitcher in the same teams, that's got to be something personal.
Well,
I really think it is.
I did see Don Mattingly say it's not. I remember watching a YouTube clip from John Boy Media, and the guys, he's the one who kind of portrayed out the Astros cheating, laying out the videos for the MLB to go out and look at. But I watched a video on him, and he mentioned right when they played the Braves, I think the last time they played each other, he mentioned something along those lines that it was not a personal thing. And it's very, very hard to believe that. It's very hard to believe.
Why would you get hit 7 times with the same pitcher? That's good. I really don't like this little SOB here. Here's one for you.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. You don't hit the same guy 7 times.
No, what you doing? Sell his mama or something? Come on.
Maybe that's a possibility. The other team, guys, that I cover, obviously, is the Tampa Bay Rays, which currently sit 4 games ahead of the New York Yankees in the AL East.
Yep.
So they are up right now, and I think they won today over the Chicago White Sox, or they're winning. Last time I checked, let me see. The game is in the top of the 7th inning, and they're up 6-0.
So we can't play it anyway.
They'll be taking 2 out of 3 from the White Sox, who the White Sox beat them 7-5 on Friday in extra innings.
Yes.
The Rays won yesterday 8-4, and they're up 6-0 currently. They will have tomorrow off, and then they will be on the road to play the Phillies, and then on the road to play the Orioles before coming home to play the Red Sox for 4 games starting on the 30th and ending on September 2nd.
Well, I think you got whether the Orioles. I think you got that made because we know how bad they are. Wow.
They've lost what? They haven't won a game in
17 in a row at last count. Who knows? By the end of the month, it might be 25.
It could be. It could very, very likely be.
Wow. It's all good, folks, and the Orioles still suck.
The question that I've seen a lot on and from fan side of the website is called RaysColoredGlasses.com. I don't know why the website's called that, but that's what it's called.
Should be rose colored.
Have we seen enough of Ryan Yarborough to make him a starter? Yeah. There's been a lot of questions about that for him. Is it time for him to be a starter? Because right now, guys, they don't have an ace going into the playoffs. That is the scary part for them. Tyler Glass now is not going to pitch. if he ever does pitch again in a Rays uniform, it will not be until 2023. He will be out next year. And guys, even if there is an MLB season next year, because again, if you do not know, the CBA in the MLB expires in December, and we do not know, as me and Lewis and our good co-host Adam all agree, that we believe the MLB will be on a strike when the CBA expires. From what we have seen from last year,
or a lockout.
For a lockout, or COVID, or they were trying to negotiate COVID money. That didn't go very well. It took them a while to finally get that situated. Just think about now with a whole 162 game season, how they're going to have to get that all said and done. So I don't know. It's a mess right now for the for MLB.
It's a mess. But if you remember back when we had 9/11, they were doing that too, and the collective bitching agreement was supposed collective bargaining agreement actually was delayed another year. They said, well, all we've been through, we're going to extend the deadline to another year, and they gave that extra time to work it out. So maybe it could happen the same way, but I doubt it though.
Maybe. I mean, that's a possibility. Maybe they are able to agree to maybe having a little bit more time to negotiate the CBA, and hell, maybe they'll get it'll get all straightened out, and we'll be wrong, and then come April of next year, we'll have a season. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Who knows? But again, we'll have to see with the Rays pitching staff. I mean, that might be the only big question mark this team has going into the postseason is pitching, because other than that, they've been able to score runs. The offense all of a sudden has come alive. Brandon Lau, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn earlier in the month, hits everything now. He's been hitting home runs and everything, so everyone's hitting again, which is good, because again, if you don't have any pitching, you got to have offense. So that's what the Rays have right now. And again, they are up. They can only go up by a half game because, like Lewis just said, the Yankees game has been postponed due to the hurricane or tropical storm, so they won't be playing today. The game obviously probably will be made up later this year, or I don't know if they have a day off tomorrow. If both teams have a day off tomorrow, they'll make it up. I don't know how the schedule plays out for either one of them, but for the Rays, and all the Rays fans out there, you guys got to be clapping your hands right now, because you're back in first place. Again, this team was in the World Series a year ago and lost to the Dodgers. Again, the big question this year is how far will their pitching staff carry them into the postseason? We'll have to wait and see, because that's going to be the big question, because you run into a team like the White Sox or the Yankees or the Astros who have a good pitching staff. It's going to be hard to win games and stuff like that when your pitchers are not there. So for the Rays, that's the big question mark, is who is going to step up. Maybe Ryan Yarbrough steps up to be that guy, be the starter that they need. I don't know how Michael Wacha did on Friday night. They were talking about he may have been pitching his last game as a Rays pitcher. They may have designated for something. I didn't see anything over the weekend, so he must have stayed well lit or something, because I didn't see anything about him being traded or DOA'd or anything like that, or DFA. I mean, so yeah, it's right. We'll have to wait and see, how that all plays out for them. Real quick, guys, I'm going to go back. I got to do my little sponsor thing here. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience of your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app. Pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? All right, guys, so now we get to the end of my show, and I always end. Let me go ahead and before I get into football, let's do hockey real quick, and I'll start with the boys in Tampa, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. I'll go there. I usually start with the Panthers, but because I was unable to add the Lightning on my pictures, I will do the Lightning first. If my screen comes unlocked, looks like I'm locked up. Did my screen just lock up? There we go. Okay, now I'm back. So here is now, we talked about on the Thursday show how the NHLPA is telling the players not to get ready for the Olympics.
Yeah.
But yet I read on Bolts by the Bay, which is again another fan-sided website, that these are the Lightning players you should expect to see playing in Beijing in February. Here are the list of people. There will be 12 teams. As it stands right now, 9 are qualified, and that would be Canada, the United States, Germany, China, the Czech Republic, the ROC, or Russia, Switzerland, Finland, and Sweden are the ones who are there. So here we are. John Cooper will be coaching Team Canada in the Olympics. Ryan McDonough will be for Team USA on defense. For Team Canada, there's probably going to be a bunch of them. Braden Point, Steven Stamkos. For Russia, obviously, we're going to have to say Nikita Kucherov and Andrei Vasilevsky. And Miguel Sergachev are the three. Well, they're not called Russia guys. They're called the ROC.
Yes.
If you're counting at home, they are called the ROC. The Czech Republic, I would probably have to say Andre Palat. And then you have Sweden, and obviously we know that that's Victor Hedman as well. So those will be the players, guys, that they're predicting could be on their respective countries' teams come Beijing if they elect to go to the Olympics. We'll have to wait and see how that all breaks down if the National Hockey League wants to send its players to Beijing or not, because as we said on Thursday night, they didn't sound like to me that they wanted them to go to the Olympics this year. Here are 6 games, guys, to watch on the Lightning for the Lightning in 2022. Obviously, opening night on October 12th against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Obviously, will be the night that they raised the banner for the 2021 NHL champion, the Stanley Cup championship that they won. The second one will happen on, let's see here. They've got Tuesday, October 19th against the Florida Panthers. Obviously, that's another important game, being it's an in-state rival, and they played each other in the playoffs last year. The next game that they have listed down is Saturday, October 23rd against the Colorado Avalanche. And this is a team that obviously has been a Stanley Cup favorite out of the Western Conference for a few years, but has not been able to get there with Vegas and, of course, a lot of the other teams Dallas 2 years ago and Montreal last year. But Montreal's not in the Western Conference. They've just happened to fall with the divisions where they were a year ago.
Yes.
That's how Montreal got there. The first time that the teams will play against the inaugural Seattle Kraken will be Friday, November 26th. Guys, if I'm not mistaken, that's Black Friday. And
it is.
I will be driving that night to the Florida State game, which happens the next day. So I will not be able to go to the game, but they will be at Amalie Arena. The Kraken will be there for the very first time on Friday, November 26th. And the last game that they have watching, the last 2 games, will be Tuesday, December 28th, 3 days after Christmas, where they will meet up with the team that they just recently beat in the Stanley Cup Finals, the Montreal Canadiens. That'll be a home game for the Lightning. And then the last matchup is Saturday, February 26th in Nashville. And guys, I will be at that game because guess what? It's the outdoor game at Tennessee Titans Stadium. I will be at that game. It looks like it says in Nashville, average temperature in February has a high of 52, a low of 32. Pair that with an early evening game time of 5:30 p.m. Central Time, and get yourself you've got yourself a visual for the ages. So I'm going to hopefully be at that game on the road in Nashville. I have to dress warm because, again, being from Florida, we're not used to cold weather and stuff like that. So it will be something different for me to experience cooler weather in an outdoor game. So
that was my niece that just walked in.
Cool. No problem. No worries. And The other team, guys, I cover is the Florida Panthers. Again,
Yes.
here was a team that was in the playoffs last year. Actually, I think they made the playoffs the last 2 seasons, or they were in the play-in in 2020.
Right.
This is a team that, again, as I have always said, I think over the last year or two, is a team that is on the rise. This is a team that should not be taken as just a pushover team anymore. They don't have that kind of mentality anymore in Sunrise. Um, they've got a new head coach. They've got a new general manager. They've got some new people in there playing. Guys, they picked up Joe Thornton, for crying out loud, to give him one more shot at a Stanley Cup. I don't know if this team is Stanley Cup final capable. I don't believe they are. They are playoff bound, though. I can officially say, unless they get some major injuries, I think this team definitely can make the postseason again. But you never know. If the marbles fall the right way, they might be in the finals. Come this Stanley Cup year or NHL year. I mean, so we'll have to wait and see. They've got Spencer Knight in goal. That's the future, because Sergei Bobrovsky's got a huge contract. I don't see Florida trying. I don't know what they're going to do with that contract, because they can't trade him, because no one's going to pick up that contract. They're either going to have to buy him out, or they're going to have to try to trade and make some trades to get rid of that contract or something, because they're stuck underneath it. That's the only issue that the Panthers have at the immediate moment is that with what's going on with the with that. But again, guys, that's my hockey talk. We'll get into football. Again, I always start with I'm going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously,
the Jaguars
have the biggest news for the Jaguars this week, obviously, was them cutting Tim Tebow earlier in the week.
What a shock.
As we said, I don't think that, as a lot of us believe, that was not really a shocker.
No.
A lot of people actually that I talked to, Lewis, said that they were surprised he even played one preseason game. He didn't get cut prior to game one. So
Just
again, there were a lot of people out there that didn't even think he would get to game one.
Just a formality, though.
I didn't. Oh, there's football today? I didn't know there was any football games on today.
There's 2 games today. The Giants are playing right now.
Against the Browns?
Yes, in Cleveland.
In Cleveland? All right. So let me look back at the scoreboard.
Otherwise, they won't be playing today at all.
It looks like, let's see here. Let's see. Miami, Tampa Bay. Did Jacksonville not play this week? Oh, they play tomorrow. Oh, okay. They don't have it until tomorrow. Okay, so they're playing tomorrow against the Saints. So again, guys, that's where they are now. There have been some opinions about Urban Meyer's change from college to the pros, how he's been handling things. Some people obviously say he's doing an okay job. Other people say he's over his head. So we'll have to, wait and see how the season plays out. They did lose their first preseason game. Now they'll have the Saints, who I think you're going to see a mixture of Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill tomorrow, because the Saints are trying to figure out their starting quarterback, and the Jaguars will probably have their starting defense out there for at least a couple of series, maybe just the entire first quarter. I don't know what Urban Meyer's plans are, because next week, guys, when we get to week 3 of the preseason, you're not going to see any starters at all. It'll be just guys that are trying to make the team, for all the teams trying to avoid being cut. I think they have to cut 5 after this week, and then after next week, it has to be down to like 58 total players for each franchise. Just kind of interesting. You extend the season by 1 game.
Yeah,
I think that you'd extend the amount of players you could have with that 1 extra game. That may be something they'll have to look into later on.
I just don't see why you're playing an odd number of games on. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, everybody else plays an even schedule. You're playing 17.
17 games.
I just don't get that.
Yeah, no, it's very, very interesting. as I've said, guys, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I could see the Jaguars winning 4 to 5 games this season. I don't see them winning just one like they did a year ago. This team only won one game and then went on a 15-game losing streak after losing that first game of the week or first game of the season. Then they went on a 15-game losing streak after. I don't see this team doing that this year. Again, they're going to go through growing pains. They have an issue on the offensive line trying to protect one Trevor Lawrence. So we'll have to see how that works out for the Jaguars, how they can improve that going into week 1 of the season. The Miami Dolphins also, Tua, I guess, had a very good game last night in a 37-17 win over the Atlanta Falcons. So the Dolphins are now 1-1 in the preseason because they lost week 1. I think all 3 Florida teams lost their opening, and the Buccaneers lost their game last night too, to Tennessee. Miami did win 37-17 last night at home. Let me see what the stats were for. Check to see how Tua and company did last night here. I didn't know that Felipe Franks was a quarterback for the Falcons. I didn't know he had got drafted.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Played high school football in Jersey. Pro Bowl.
Tua was 16 for 23 for 183 yards with 1 touchdown. Jacoby Brissett was 8 for 8 for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. And Reed Sinnett was 2 for 2, 7 yards for 1 touchdown. So, again, that's one of the reasons why the Dolphins won by 20 points. They scored 16 points in quarter 3 and 7 points in the other 3 quarters. But they did extend. Again, they won their second preseason game. Again, the question with them too is here are 5 running backs that the Dolphins should look to pick up after they've been cut. So this is from FinFanatic.com. But here are 5 running backs that the team should go after if they are cut. So let's see here. Number 1 would be, or no, maybe number 5. I don't know how they would be Wayne Gallman from the San Francisco 49ers if he gets cut. Somebody they could look at to get that. The Niners have had a good running game the past few years. For the Denver Broncos, Royce Freeman would be another one that they could eye to bring in to back up. Benny Snell Jr. from the Pittsburgh Steelers, because obviously you have Najee Harris, who is tearing it up in Pittsburgh. So maybe a possibility he gets cut. You have Mark Ingram III from the Houston Texans, possibly a opportunity for him. And the most logical choice would be Sony Michel from the division rival New England Patriots. That is the obvious one. I think that Sony has started to begin to play his final couple snaps with the Patriots. The Patriots running game has gotten a lot better without him. So I could see the Patriots getting rid of him and the Dolphins picking him up. Just another way to kind of stick it to New England one more time. So, well, we got one of your, former running backs. So we'll see how that all works itself out. But again, guys, they did win last night in game 2 of the preseason. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they did not win last night. They are 0-2 so far in the preseason. They've only scored 1, if I'm not mistaken, 1 offensive touchdown in the preseason. And that would be off the arm of one Kyle Trask, the former Florida Gator quarterback. I could be wrong. Let's see. They lost 34-3. So they scored no points. They only had 1 field goal last night. The offense did not look good. And they started with Blaine Gabbert. Tom Brady did not start last night, obviously, didn't even play a snap. And then it went from Blaine Gabbert to Ryan Griffin III, and then from Ryan Griffin III to Kyle Trask. That's how it went last night. But the Buccaneers, obviously, they've only scored 1 offensive touchdown during the preseason, and that was in week 1. Kyle Trask has been getting praise from Bruce Arians and company, so that's good. on their second round draft pick. One of the biggest questions is if the Buccaneers have success this year, is this the last season for one Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich? Now, Bowles just signed an extension with the Bucs to be their defensive corner. Actually, his contract is longer than one Bruce Arians. So a lot of people are pointing at the flag that this might be the transition from Bruce to Todd Bowles taking over as the head coach there. The Buccaneers, I think also there was a player that I believe had a special exemption from the Naval Academy, and the Bucs cut him. So now he will be returning to the Naval Academy in Annapolis. So if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what I heard the other day, that they had cut him. So again, this is a team that is favored to repeat as Super Bowl champions. They have probably the number one or number two best defense in the league. Obviously, we're not going to see that next week because, like I said, you're not going to see most or any of the starters next week. Very few of them
Probably not.
will be sprinkled in next week in the preseason for the one last preseason game next week. But again, the Bucs again are favored up there. Obviously, the Packers obviously have to be the biggest threat in the NFC with Aaron Rodgers coming back. We'll have to wait and see. The AFC, you can't count out Buffalo or Kansas City. Obviously, they're the outside favorite there too. So those two teams would be who were in the AFC title game last year against each other. So again, I wouldn't be very surprised if it goes that way as well. But that is the NFL, guys. And again, like I said earlier in my show, Lewis, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We will have college football this Saturday. Is that correct?
We will. It's not a big schedule. Mostly is the cream puff games, as they call it, or exhibition, or you want to call it. But there are some notable games, and one's going to be on Fox. That's with Arizona, so it'll be worth watching. The bulk of this season really starts on the first week of September. There's a game that's on Wednesday night, but the real bulk of it starts like on that from Thursday onward. This is just the cream puff schedule first. They always do. In other words, that's where the games were like 42-3 at the end of the first half. And like, why are they playing this game? We're going to lose. Why do we bother?
Right. So here is the Miami Hurricanes' 2021 season preview. This is their prediction of how this team will end up this year. It's not wrong for the Hurricanes fans to want a 10-win season. Let's see if they can get that done. Obviously, they start big game right off the bat. They'll play Alabama to begin the season.
Forget it.
De'Aaron King will be back as the quarterback this year. Obviously, that's going to be something. Now, on defense, I was reading an article, too, that we need to see the turnover chain more this year. If you guys do not know what the turnover chain is, it is a chain that the Miami Hurricanes wear when they have a turnover on defense.
Right.
It's a bling thing. It's either I've seen the state of Florida, all in green and orange, or the U itself. They change it every year. We'll have to wait and see something that they want to see. So here are the predictions of how this team will fare out this year. Game 1, they will lose to Alabama. They'll beat Appalachian State, Michigan State, Central Connecticut State, Virginia, lose to North Carolina, win against NC State, win against Pittsburgh, win against Georgia Tech, win against Florida State, win against Virginia Tech, and win against Duke. So they would be 10-2 overall with a 7-1 in the ACC. ESPN predicted last night that the teams that could make a run at Clemson are as follows: Miami, North Carolina, and then an outsider would obviously be the Pitt Panthers, would be the other team that can make a run at Clemson. So again, we'll have to wait and see because, again, like I said, the ACC has been dominated by Clemson. In fact, ESPN predicted that they have a 95% chance to win the conference again this season. 95% chance the team wins the conference.
I think I buy that.
So again, it would have to take something like Miami to show up. Miami does not play Clemson during the regular season. They do not meet against each other. You will not see that matchup. Again, just like Miami, they have them losing 2 games. Again, Alabama would be the one game that they would lose. And then the in-conference game they have this team losing is against North Carolina. Tar Heels obviously are a good football team, and we'll have to. That should be a good football game. They'll play Miami on game. It will be week 6. And it says this is the biggest game of the season for the Hurricanes, as they will need to win if they want to win the Coastal. And Miami will have revenge on their mind after getting embarrassed by the Tar Heels last season. I think North Carolina's home field advantage gives them the edge. So they'll be in Chapel Hill to play the Tar Heels. They will not be in Coral Gables at home. So we'll see. Again, 10-2 seems pretty problematic to me. I can agree with that. I can't see Miami. At the least, they'll win is 9 games. I'd have to say that they have a pretty good team down there. I have a Facebook user that says hello, but I don't know who it is. Here, I'll show this. See, okay. I don't know who this is because I don't know.
Be careful with that. It could be a trap.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I can't respond back to them on here anyway. It won't allow me to. But the next one is the boys in Tallahassee. Now, again, here's a team that they have Miami beating. This is all going to revolve around how Coach Mike Norvell obviously did not have a very good first season with COVID, as a lot of them did not. The defense is going to have to improve for Florida State, obviously. They're going to have to rely on their quarterback depth to get through the season. Here are the top 5 concerns going into the season for the Florida State Seminoles. Again, this is via chopchat.com. That's CHOP chat.com. Here are the 5 concerns for the for the Florida State Seminoles. Team mentality. Now, that was one of the things that kind of got messed up last year in the beginning. The mentality of the team did not start off too well last season, so that obviously is going to be big this year. Number 4, obviously, as I was just referring to it as depth, DEPTH. How can they? That's definitely, I think that'd be important for many college football teams. Number 3 is special teams. Remember, guys, a lot of people don't talk about special teams. Remember, all they talk about is offense and defense. Guys, there's three facets to football. Special teams is just as important as the other 2, because if you can win on a kick returns or putting a team back, on their own end of the field, that's a win, and you can win special teams. That's a way to win to do that. Number 2 is pass rush. We were just talking about the defense having to step up. That's definitely going to have to be something that they're going to have to step up and do. And then number 1 is at the wide receiver corps. So again, they've made some changes at the quarterback position. Former USF quarterback Mackenzie Milton is now a Florida State Seminole. He transferred after having leg surgery, and he is now able to play football. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But again, you have to have weapons for your quarterback to throw to. Obviously, that's the way it has to go. So that's another problem that they're going to have to look at this year. The next team, guys, I cover is the Florida Gators.
There's a big looking Gator.
Again, if you did not hear me early on, I did write a season preview. I have the Gators finishing 10-2 this year. The nice. 2 games I have them losing are week 3 against Alabama. They'll be at home in Gainesville, but I don't see them. And then they'll lose on the eve of Halloween, October 30th, and that'll be the game in Jacksonville against Georgia, unless the Bulldogs get banged up before that game. I don't think the Gators have enough. Again, this team, guys, averaged 42 points per game last year. I don't think that's going to happen this year. Not with Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts, both in the National Football League. I don't see that happening. but can this team win the SEC East? They have to beat Georgia. That's going to be the team, I think.
It's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Their way. They won it last year and then went on to lose to Alabama in the SEC title game. But here are 3 bold predictions for the Gators in 2021. So let me read these real quick on what the bold predictions for this team will be. Now, again, these predictions could be number 1, Emory Jones becomes a star. I could agree with that one. I don't think that's bold to say that. Number 2, getting positive in a turnover margin. That's something that the Gators lacked a year ago. They lost turnover battle a lot a year ago. So they have to step up. Obviously, that's one thing you want to make sure that you do win. You do want to win the turnover battle. That's a definite. When the Gators win the turnover battle, guys, they're 29-0. Just thought I'd point that out there.
That's their secret weapon.
Florida wins at least 10 in the regular season. I could see them winning 10. Of course, the 2 games that people have questions about is the LSU game and then again against Missouri. Guys, Missouri, no matter what you think about them, they've been a thorn in the side of the Florida Gators since joining the SEC. This is a team that's been an absolute. They make or break the Gators season. They have in the past. It's a team that the Gators always seem to have struggles against. So be prepared. That's a game that I believe is the week after Georgia, the week before, 2 weeks prior to them playing Florida State. I think it's the last in-conference games against Missouri. And they have a what Lewis calls a cupcake game in between Missouri and Florida.
Well, I say cream puff, but still.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, cupcake, cream. Same thing. On those lines of those. The Gators do have an easy game starting this season. They'll play against Willie Taggart and the FAU Owls to begin the season.
Forget it.
Oh, are you ready for this? Saturday, September 11th, they travel to a little city called Tampa, Florida, where they will play the USF Bulls to begin the Bulls' home opening season. And I have read everything online. I don't see one article that gives USF a dying chance to beat Florida. No. I've seen 54-6. I've seen shutouts. I've seen everything that USF will hang with them for about a quarter, and then after that, the game just comes unglued. So we'll have to wait and see how that all breaks down. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't expect to see USF beat Florida. It would be interesting if it was a football game, but I will predict you'll have a lot of Florida Gator fans making the trek down from Gainesville to Tampa to see them play USF on September 11th. And guys, real quick, non-Florida related, if you guys watched our show on Thursday, the Naval Academy introduced their uniform they're going to wear against Air Force, and it's based off of the Marine Corps uniform. I have got to say, that is one of the coolest looking jerseys I've seen that the Naval Academy has done. So if you guys watch that game on September 11th, watch them because that jersey is pretty cool looking.
Yes.
How they threw in the Marine Corps colors into the Naval Academy colors. It looks pretty good. The team that is USF's thorn in their side is UCF. That's the Golden Knights. Now, they did lose one of their running backs. R.J. Harvey suffered a season-ending knee injury, so he is out. So, again, we're going to have to wait and see. Obviously, they have a new head coach, Gus Malzahn. He wants to run, from what I understand, without beg me if I'm wrong when I say this, he wants to run a 3-3-5 defense. So, guys, if you're wondering, that sounds more like to me like it's a nickel defense because in the nickel you have 5 defensive backs. So I'm wondering if he's going to run nickel all the time. That's 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and then, of course, your 5 defensive backs. So we'll have to wait and see how that factors in. Obviously, I've read some AAC predictions that UCF is an outside shot of winning the AAC this year. Obviously, Cincinnati is the team to beat in the conference. I believe UCF plays Cincinnati later in the season. I don't here. Let's look at their schedule. Let's look at UCF's schedule. Let's see real quick who. I'm just curious on who they who they play. I know they play USF on Black Friday. I do know that. That's the day after. That's the day that I leave to go to the Florida State game. Okay, so they start their season at home against Boise State on September 2nd at 7 p.m. That's going to be an interesting game right off the start because Boise State is a pretty good football team. So we'll have to see how that all starts off. They play Bethune-Cookman. That is a university in the state of Florida on September 11th at home. Their first road game is at Louisville on September 17th. They're at the Naval Academy on October 2nd. They play the Eastern Carolina Pirates at home on October 9th. They play the Bearcats on the road at Cincinnati on October 16th. They're home to play the Memphis Tigers, which a lot of AAC brass have said this is going to be a down year for Memphis. They go on the road to play Temple on the eve of Halloween. They're home against the Tulane Green Wave on November 6th. They're at SMU on November 13th. They play the independent Connecticut Huskies on November 20th. They're at home, and then they'll finish the last two games at home. November 26th, they will play the USF Bulls in the Bounce House in Orlando at the end of the season. So we'll have to wait and see how the season goes for them with a new head coach and everything else. So I'm curious about that myself on how they do. I always end the show, guys, with USF. Obviously, they have this is the second year under Coach Jeff Scott. Year one did not go very well. They also only had one win last year. I don't see USF winning just one game. I could see this team winning 5 or 6. I know people think, "Oh, you're crazy. There's no way that's going to happen."
Yeah.
Well, we'll see because a lot of people can write a lot of teams off and then they come out and surprise you. Now, real quick, Coach Bowden, like I said, rest in peace. We were talking about him last week. He's part of the DNA that makes up UCF's coaching staff. I believe he was in talks with Coach Jeff Scott, the coaches that Coach Bowden obviously mentored or touched in a way or two. So he is part of the USF DNA. The quarterbacks for USF, which has been the biggest question, has stepped up during the offseason, which is good. It's a good thing that you have them stepping up. They start their season on the road against NC State. I did happen to read the article from collegefootballnews.com, and they have USF losing this game, but it's going to be close. It won't be a blowout. They said that USF will stay in the game for at least a half or 2 quarters, and then NC State will show its power. We'll see. Again, one of those we'll see games. If they lose to NC State, they have Florida, BYU, and FAMU, which I could see them coming out of the first 4 games at least 2-2. BYU is not as strong because you can ask the man that's here with me. Zach Wilson is doing very, very well in the Jets uniform. He had a very good
preseason starting is doing very well, but it's gonna be what happens when the season starts counting. Then what's gonna happen? So
very true, very true.
Yeah. So I'm impressed so far, but wait till the real season starts before you start thinking how great he's gonna be, because you can do well in preseason, but if you get injured in regular season, which we've already lost one player, so
Yeah. So like I said again, the quarterback carousel will have to be solved if this team's going to win more than one game like it did a year ago. Like I said, I wrote an article for this very fine network that I'm podcasting on right now, NGSC, last week. I had the Bulls finishing, I think, 6-6 on the season. This year, 5-7 at the worst. I could see them winning at least 6 games. Again, you call me crazy, whatever you want to call me. That's just my prediction. And I could be wrong. this team could go 1-11 again. So who knows? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I will, like I said earlier, guys, in the show, I will know about my credentials probably this week because we can start picking credentials up next week on September 1st. So I will know this upcoming week whether I got credentials or not. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping I did because the USF Florida game starts at 1 o'clock on September 11th, which means I'm going to be out of bed early that day to get to the stadium, to get parked and see all of the craziness of tailgating again. That's going to be the interesting part this year, is seeing tailgating and full stadiums, barring the states that these things are in. I know there are some NFL teams, and
Yeah.
I think I heard yesterday that one of the college football teams is requiring you to be vaccinated or have
Yes.
a negative COVID test to get in the stadium. So
That's
I did
right.
that yesterday. So okay. Well, guys, with that is how I close out my show. As I do, like I said, guys, there will not be a show next week. I will be taking the week off from this show and the Locker Report. So we'll be back the first week of September. So that'll be September 2nd and 3rd. These two shows will be back on their regular time. Again, this has been the Sunshine State Sports Shabber, part of NGSC Sports. Remember the website, guys. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. The show is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for your the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And as I always do, guys, Lewis, do you want to go ahead and say anything before we get off here?
Yeah, just remember Enhanced Sports Show Saturdays, 5 to 7 p.m. East Coast time. Number to call is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat it again, 512-543-4662. We'll have a lot to cover on Saturday's show as well. As preseason football goes into its final week, the first full week of college football with the predictions. No, we're probably not going to be able to do all of them because that would take up, I think, more than the time allowed. But it'll be interesting. Of course, we'll do baseball. Cover maybe also some Little League World Series action, because we're into that now. And my New Jersey from Tom's River won yesterday. Thank you. And of course, our very popular feature, the best and worst of the month, because it is the final Saturday of the month, and it should be pretty interesting. I've already got my selections for that, so hopefully you guys will too. And yesterday, we had a pretty good crowd. I think I just nearly missed a record.
Good, Lewis. That's good.
Callers.
Good. All right.
If you would have called in, we would have broke that record.
There you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, with that in mind, I'm going to hop off here. This has been the Sports Sir Bradley Walker. I want to thank our first responders and the men and women of our armed services. Thank you guys for doing what you do daily. And before I go, I love everyone that popped in here and everyone over on YouTube. Thank you for helping us out with both sides of this. But until the first week in September, I'm going to chime off here. Everyone, please stay safe out there. We love you. Peace.
So long, folks. Okay.